everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kelsey Lee, and today we are doing the 5th installment of My Abiding Journal. This is my endeavor to journal every single day of 2018. I'm going to have 365 entries by the time I am done. Hopefully at the end of 2018, I'm trying my hardest not to bleed over into 2019, but at the end of my journaling, I will have 365 entries, and I'm very excited to have an entire year of my life documented and having all of those incredible memories to treasure here in my journal. Today's flip through is going to focus on my May entries and all of the wonderful memories that happened that month and the different creative techniques that I used to journal them and keep those memories abiding. Before I jump into it, I just want to let you know that since this is May, that means that there are 4 months or 4 flip throughs that are already out and available for you. I will have that playlist linked, and if you're watching this later, then there might be even more entries for you to check out. So by the end of the year, there will be 12 flip throughs in all of the 12 months from 2018. So I encourage you to check them all out if this interests you, gain some inspiration, and without further ado, let's jump right into the 5th month, otherwise known as my favorite month, May. So my first entry here is just talking about working from home. It was a really beautiful, beautiful sunny day, so I got to lay out in my backyard and just do some work out there. This entry is super simple, mostly just journaling, but I love this little collection here of stickers and washi tape. I basically just did strips of washi down the side here with one of my printables thrown in as well for my Patreon, and then just a few little stickers, and I love the way that that aesthetic turned out. Over here was a really sad but at the same time a kind of wonderful day. My dog Jeannie was sick, she wasn't feeling well, and just was really lethargic all day, which is sad, but it was also a blessing because she is so hyperactive that it was kind of nice to just have her be super cuddly and just lethargic that day. She just wanted to sleep and cuddle with me, which was kind of nice, and she did get over it, so it ended up being okay. But what I love about this page is it was pretty simple to start, just with this journaling card, a sticker, and some photos of her with a little bit of lettering and my journaling, of course. But then because of what I did on the next page, which I'm going to show you in a minute, there was some bleed through, and I love the way that the bleed through enhanced this entry, so it was kind of a happy accident. And here you can see why that happened. This is one of my favorite entries. I love it so much, and it chronicles a weekend that I spent with my best friends. And I love this entry because it has this gorgeous background using the color bursts, which I did show in the video where I made the cover of this journal insert. So if you're interested in learning more about the color bursts and how to get this awesome technique, you can watch that video. And I also did share how I created this page a little bit in a journal with me over on my Patreon as well. So I just really love the way this turned out, and I also used just photos, and I have some fun doily elements as well. There's a lot going on here, and I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Over here is another example of the bleed through. So the color bursts do bleed through your pages, but honestly I kind of like it because it makes it easier to prep pages, because when you do one, you're really doing 2. And so this bleed through I just used to my advantage, made a cute little collage of stickers down here, and then a piece of doily up here with the date, and then just pure journaling, which is some of my favorite things. And this is actually all one entry. I had a lot of photos that I wanted to use, so I decided to just keep a 4x6 and make a collage of them, and then put all the photos on one page and do all of my journaling for that entry on the other page. And I really do love the way that this one turned out. These 2 entries are quite simple, literally just photos, a little journaling card, a piece of washi tape. So this is an example when I don't have anything super special about those entries but still want to record it. I just do really quick, simple entries, and it gives me something to look back on and doesn't need to be anything extravagant. Here again, I did a little doodle of my low-carb lettuce shell tacos. And then here, berries and whipped cream. I did a doodle of that as well. Lots of food in my journal, always. Here again, food. I love documenting my food. Eating is one of my favorite pleasures of life, and it shows in my journaling. So here, I work at a college, so this is just kind of wrapping up the end of the year for college. We had our commencement ceremony. I just did a little tip-in with this piece of vellum and did journaling over top of it, but as you can see, you can still see the photos beneath it, which is a cool effect. And all of these elements like this and the commencement here, the date, I just cut out of the program. So definitely hold on to things like that, your programs from events you go to, tickets, anything like that you can cut apart and use in your journal. Here is an entry for Mother's Day where I just used stickers, and I'm pretty sure that this is a journal with me somewhere. I'm not sure if this is on YouTube or Patreon, but I will find out. Same over here. These are somewhere. Patreon, YouTube, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I did journal with me's for these entries, hopefully. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Anyways, so this just used stickers from one of the Happy Planner sticker packs, and then over here, once again, I was using stickers from the Happy Planner to tie these pages together, and then I just used my number stencil, which I talk about in every video. It's from Amazon. I have it linked in all of my video descriptions, so you can check it out there. And this one is 3 different entries in one. And so this is just something I like to do when I don't have a ton going on. I just did little bullet points for those 3 days. And it's just a nice way to get down the main things from those days and still have that to look back on. But if nothing major happened, I don't need to go crazy devoting an entire page to it. These 2 pages are 2 of my favorites, and I do have a journal with me for this one over here. This one is 2 days divided in one, and I just adore these stickers. This is when I got my sticker pack from American Crafts. It is this one here, the Jen Hadfield Homemade. I love this sticker pack so much, and it shows because many of my journal entries from this point forward use a lot of those stickers. So yeah, I did this entry over here using those stickers, and then this one I did a journal with me, so you can check that out to learn more about this whole process. This is another one of those entries that just makes me really happy to look at. Like I said, you all have those entries that just make you smile and fill your heart with joy, and this is one of those. I mean, those colors are just so joyful. How can you not when you're looking at that bright yellow and orange? It just screams spring to me. And so I obviously used some alpha letters here to write out sunshine, and then have cute little birds. And I actually did this watercolor of this Baltimore Oriole on watercolor paper from Arteza using my Arteza Real Brush pens, which I do have a review of those combined with a journal with me on my channel that you can check out. And I just love the Real Brush pens and the effect that they give me, and I thought that this little bird here turned out really well. So I love doing that with different wildlife. A lot of times, especially with birds, they're hard to capture with a photograph, but I love going back and doing an illustration of them and including that in my journal instead. It's just a cool way to capture it, and it's a really personal way to do it too. And then over here, I did some lettering, Fresh Farms, Let's Take a Walk, and I did some little doodles of roses down here. And then I used these stickers to write Delight in Today. Cute little rose stickers that tied together. So yes, just everything is yes. Yes, this is working and I love it. I really enjoy these pages. And here is more examples of that homemade sticker book that I was talking about. Like I said, I fell in love with it and it just kept coming out in my journaling. So I really love these pages. I love the colors from that set, the pretty pinks and the neutrals, and it's just very earthy and homey. So I really love the way this turned out. This was a cool thing down here. So I had from the back, as you're going to see when I flip, these roses bled through a little bit. I think I used the Arteza pens maybe, and that's why they bled through, and I didn't like that they were standing out, so I decided to just draw a little block around where the sticker is, because that obviously blocked the bleed through there. And then I just colored over the roses and made them stand out. So I just traced the roses from this onto this side, and I really love the way it turned out. It just created a nice little frame, and I wrote in that lavender creme brulee because we enjoyed a delicious lavender creme brulee together that day, my mom and I. And then over here I did some fun layering with these botanical stickers, and then throwing in some of my own doodles as well, which I've done in a few journal with me's. If you want to see how that is actually done in process, you can check out some of my journal with me's because I use that technique a lot. Over here I just used some photos and then outlined them and did some journaling. Super easy page here. And this is just a continuation of my journaling because I didn't end up leaving myself enough room for everything I wanted to say. This entry I love so much, and I did this one over on my Patreon. So if you are somebody who loves journal with me's and just can't get enough of process videos and watching others journal and gaining inspiration that way, then definitely go ahead and check out my Patreon because I make 2 exclusive videos over there every single month, and one of them is always a journal with me, and quite a few of them end up being chatty journal with me's because that's what my patrons end up voting for. So if you like those types of videos, this was a nice long chatty with me journal with me, chatty with me journal with me, a nice chatty journal with me that I did with my patrons over there, and it was a really fun process. So if you want to learn more about how that was created, you can check that out over on Patreon. And then over here, I really love this entry, and I did this one here on my channel, so I'll have it linked, I think. Was this on my channel or was it on Patreon? Oh my gosh. This is becoming a problem. Clearly I can't keep track and should look at these things before I start filming. So this entry, I just did lots of lettering and then had a sticker at each point for the day. And then what I love about this is to tie these two together. I just did a little of the watercolor detail that is here in the doily in the numbers here. So I just love tying my pages together. I do that a lot in my journaling. I just think aesthetically, when you have little pieces that play off of each other, it looks really nice. And so that's something I tried to do here. Here is a fun entry where I threw in something a little different. I did a stamp down here at the bottom, which I don't do enough, and I really like stamps, but for some reason it feels like too much effort for me to pull out a stamp and put ink on it and then have to wipe off that stamp afterwards. I don't know why my mind is just like stamps are too much work, but that is the mindset that I've developed around them, and so I very rarely pull out stamps, but here I am. I don't know, for some reason I think it's easier to spend an hour drawing something like this than just using a stamp that already is it and pressing it down. I don't know, guys. I don't know why I think this way, but anywho, I used a stamp on this, and it has a fun kind of metallic sheen to these inks. And then did lettering, my journaling, photo collage up here in the corner, and threw in some more of those stickers from Homemade. And then this entry here I love. I think it turned out so well, and it has a really fun sort of collage-like feel to it because I just was putting all of the things on the page. And so I got some washi going on, layered on top of each other. I've got this fun sticker from the market that we went to. I have this die cut that I cut out from the flow calendar that I use in some of my videos. This fun piece of this map, some of my printables from Patreon. So if you're interested in having any sort of fun little elements that you can print at home and stick in your journal, be sure to check out my bullet journal plan with me because I use a lot of my printables in those if you want to learn more about them. And you can learn more about them, of course, on my Patreon as well. And then, yeah, just some journaling thrown here in the middle, but I love the way that that turned out. And the last 2 days, which it literally never fails, guys, that I end on entries that are my least favorite for the month. So try not to look at June because we're not there yet. I promise it's coming. But yeah, my last 2 entries for May are not my favorite. They're basically just using stickers. So I have a little photo up here, and then I liked the way that this entry turned out because I basically just drew little arrows pointing to stickers that represented parts of that day and did a tiny little line about that thing. So for example, I have a swimsuit and then I drew an arrow to it and I just wrote "bought a new one piece," and that was my little note for the day of what happened. And then over here, literally just journaling and a fun little collection of ice cream stickers here at the bottom because the end of May means that we are heading into summer. So I hope that you will join me for my flip through of that first month of summer, good old June, which will be coming to you shortly. If you enjoyed this flip through and getting to see my entries, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let YouTube and of course me know that you're enjoying my content. And I would also encourage you to leave me a comment. I would love to learn more about you and your journaling. Do you journal in a traveler's notebook, in a memory planner? Do you do this kind of creative journaling? What types of supplies do you use? Any old thing that you have to tell me about your journaling, I would be happy to hear it. So please go ahead and talk to me there. Like I said, if you want more content like this, of course, check out my other videos on YouTube, and then if you want even more beyond that, you can find me on Patreon, where I have exclusive content like videos and printables and so much more. And with all of that said, guys, that wraps up May. It wraps up this flip through and this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Have a blessed day, full of abiding creativity and joy, and I'll see you next time.